Morning, it's another Monday. I've made a start on the Defender. The old door is off and the new one is resting in place. It's all loose at the minute while I adjust it up. I think I'm going to get it wrapped, get the top half wrapped to make that so it's black all across the back. I think that's what I'll do. But anyway, we need to get this tightened up. So I am going to, now it's sort of pushed in the hole, I might get something just to wedge in that bottom corner, do all the outside ones up, and then adjust them on the actual door because it's easier to get to. So I think that is what I'm going to do. So let's get cracking. Right, I've got the door on. I've been playing with it for quite a while. I could get it to shut, no problem at all. Got it all set up. Yep, shut fine. Needed a bit of a slam. It wasn't quite just a push and it will shut, but it slammed shut fine. But I couldn't get it to lock. So I kept moving this, moving it up and down, moving it around, trying to get it in. But even with it off the car and on, it won't lock. That's supposed to click up and stay up, but it won't. I think the column is too fat and it's not engaging all the way back for it to lock. Because if I take this out, hang on, I've got to try and do this, hang on. Hang on. There we go. So with it off, click it back, locks, no problem at all. So I think it's not allowing it to go back far enough. So, is it a problem with this being too fat? Is it a problem with this being too thin? Is it a problem with that being too, well, I can't really, that's where it fits. I can't change that. I don't know. Right, so here we go, right? It's shut. It is now locked. And what was stopping it was the rubber bush. The rubber bush is too deep, I think. So, yeah. I don't know. How odd. Right, I think the rubber bush was slightly too tall. I know that it probably would have worn in, but if you can't lock it straight away, what's the point? So now, I do have to slam it though. That's the thing, but that shuts. Now locks. There we go. So, that is how that's working. Right, so now we've got to work out the rest. Let's have a look at some reference pictures and see if we can get the other bits mounted. It looks odd without a spare wheel on it. I've had to take it off because, believe it or not, if you look at where the spare wheel carrier is, it hits the wiper. What a pain. So what I think I'm going to have to do is probably turn this one around so it comes lower, and then either move that one or put a plate behind it to drop it down. That might be the best way. Yeah, because obviously this is drilled through here. So whether I put that one on the wrong way to start with, and it's supposed to be lower, I don't know. But I think that's what I'm going to have to do. That will give me, if that rotates, that will give me, what, over an inch. So therefore, that should clear that. But yeah, what a pain. So for today, for the job we've got today, I've just taken it off so it doesn't bang around. Okay, I am back with the chassis. I've just lifted them off the trailer. Whoops, I've bent the tray, but that doesn't matter, that's coming off anyway. Yeah, so the Disco 2 chassis has been blasted sort of a bit more than 3/4. The Range Rover chassis has been blasted 1/4. And then obviously there's some extra bits on this D2 chassis that's going to need welding up. But we'll come to it in a minute. I'm parched, I'm going to have a cup of tea, and then I will take them apart and show you. Well, actually, I probably won't today, but I'll be showing you in the morning. I've got to bring a Defender in ready for windscreen fitting. Right, that's the windscreen outlet. It's actually really quite clean, my windscreen frame. I've seen loads that are rotten. So anyway, this is out. I had to take I took the dash top off so it's out of the way. Took the A-pillars off so they're out of the way. And then, yeah, removed the screen. No problem at all. Oh, and the wipers, obviously. So, yeah, so I'm going to go home now, have a bit of dinner, and then pick my friend up and bring him back, and we're going to try and put it in. I've put the new seal in hot water. I know by the time I get back, it'll probably be cold, but I've put it in a bucket with a load of boiling water, put a lid on it. Hopefully that might help keep the heat in for a while. Hopefully it'll be a bit more pliable when we get back. So, right, I shall return. So, there's the first attempt. Bugger. We got it in, but just this top corner wouldn't go, and obviously put a bit too much pressure on it, and it went. Oh, it's a good job we got a spare. And there is the second attempt. We used a lot more lube. Lube is your friend. Yeah, so this looks so much better now with a non-scratched windscreen, a seal that's not all cracked and fallen apart. We've got new blades on there. I do need to adjust the arms because they've not gone on straight, but until it rains, and they are a bit damp. They're new wiper blades as well, but they do struggle on a dry window. So when it's raining, I'll use them and see where they sit. So yeah, so that's this done. I'm glad the second one went in. Just means I've got to replace the first one, but never mind. My mate doesn't need it just yet, so I can get that sorted. So now we've got to get it working. Okay, so this morning the blue Range Rover shell got its floor cut out, its rear arches cut out, and its rear body mounts cut out. So that's almost ready for the scrap with a bit more strippage. These two chassis are now ready to be combined. The reason being that I need the rear bumper mounts, the rear body mounts, and because that one's rotten. So this one isn't. So as you can see, half the rear third of that one is blasted and the front 2/3 of that one is, so we can combine the two. So I will update as we progress. All right, here's the blue shell. As I said, the floor has all been cut out because mine's rotten. The rear arches have been cut out because mine are rotten, both sides. And we also took out the rear body mounts because mine I had to cut when I had to put the shell on the D2 chassis. But obviously I knew I had this one, so it wasn't the end of the world. It was more to get it on the ground, land it on the chassis so that I could make sure it fits. So yeah, we need to strip the last bits of dashboard out. I think I need to take the windscreen frames off. Don't know about the roof lining, but I had loads of questions about the windscreen frame and the pillars. So I need to double check my shell, and then I'll see what needs to be cut from there. As you can see, the footwells are already got holes in, they're knackered, so they're no good. So it would just be the pillars, and then maybe this dash bit, but yeah. So that's that. This can go off for scrap in the very near future. Right, that's the framework going together. It might look a bit Heath Robinson, but it's all done for a reason. So we're getting there. Go on then. Is it? Is it? Is it? Oh, the Stig of the welding world. Right, so with the new door on, I needed to find a way of getting the spare wheel carrier on and fitted, but I can't remember if I showed you or not, but where it was fitted before, when you closed it, that bar hit the wiper arm, so I couldn't have the wiper. So what I did was turn that bracket round 180 degrees so it's lower, and then re-drilled this one, and obviously you can see I've had to just fill in the hole, but so be it. And now it closes. Obviously I've put in the retainer, so it now clears the wiper. But what I've also added is a buffer on there and a buffer on there. So when it shuts and locks, it's tight and it's not going to bang about. Whereas before, without these, that would close to there, but then it would go all the way back to the door, so it would wobble around. So now it is nice and taut. So that's one job done. Next, I've got to sort out getting the wiper working and the central locking. Okay, obviously I've not done the wiring yet, I'm just testing, but that's fitted and locked, unlocked. Perfect. Right, so the door is done for the moment. The original wiring would only switch the motor on permanently, and then switch it off with a switch, but it wouldn't park. So luckily my welder man here is a full-on electrician. He worked it all out and done me a wiring diagram to put a relay in. So now the wiper comes on intermittently instead of full time, and it parks when I turn it off again. So that's good. Central locking works. I just need to get the door card and that back on, and the covers, etc. But I'll probably leave them as they are, as it is, for a few days, just to make sure there's no issues wiring wise. I've got a door switch in now with a pusher, so when the door shuts, the light comes, well, when the door opens, sorry, the light comes on. It won't at the moment because I've got them all switched off, or I've got all the doors open. So yeah, so that now works as well. And also if you unlock the door with the key without disarming, it sets the alarm off. So that's where I'm at with that for the moment. So now I need to move on to something on the front end. All right, we're almost there. Just a few more bits to do. So we've got the join, we've got the strengthening plates all over. The Watts linkage brackets are all back on the RRC rear end. The height sensors are going back on in a minute because we've got to flip it over so we can weld underneath. But I think we're pretty much there. Right, and it's back on the floor. Everything is pretty much done. I'm going to do a dry fit next week probably, just to make sure everything lines up at the back, axle and tank and stuff. And then it needs to go back off for blasting for the bits that are not blasted metal, because the galvers get humpy if it's not all matched. And then it can go for galving, hopefully. So I'll come back to it soon. Woohoo! Right, as you saw there, it is now working. I plugged it all in, wired it all up, checked the fuses and the relay was missing. So I put a relay in, still wouldn't work. Tried to see if it worked with the climate, still wouldn't come on. Done a bit of Googling, got the wiring diagrams out, went all through it. I thought I've obviously made a mistake when I've chopped the loom down. I know I wanted to keep the heated windscreen, so I thought I left it in there. So I went through the wiring diagrams, everything seemed right. Anyway, while Googling, turns out a lot of them are switched off from factory. And you need Nanocom. So thanks to my friend Matt, he had Nanocom. So I took it over to him and he plugged it in. And yes, heated windscreen wasn't switched on in the body control module. So flicked it over, and as you saw last night, it works. So we now have heated front, heated rear, all good. So yeah, that's that for today. I've just popped in on Saturday morning, up at the moment, it's Saturday, just to make sure everything's all right here, because obviously we finished late last night and left. So I've just popped back up just to have a little look. And let me give you another look at the chassis. Okay, so again, here it is. Front half is standard Discovery, other than just adding these body mounts here. Body mounts, they're seat belt mounts actually, because on the Disco 2 they're external, so we've got to cut them off. So that's that. Obviously where the rear cross member, or the two rearmost cross members, were joined, it has been welded and it has been strengthened. We have the Watts linkage fitted. The only thing we haven't put back on, also the height sensor brackets. The other thing I haven't put on is the fuel filter mount, but I'm going to riv nut that and bolt it on so it's easily removable. And yeah, so next week I'll come in, we'll flip this back over, we'll get the axles underneath to make sure the Watts linkage clears this tank cradle. If not, we'll have to think of something else. And make sure the rear axle goes on all right, the tank goes in. Obviously, you don't need to worry anything up the front, it's all at the back. And then as long as that's all good, we can do, you know, take the bits off we don't need, like the air management bracket, because we don't need that because we'll have internal management. As I say, the old body mounts off the side there. So yeah, so we're going to get this all sorted out, and then it can go off for galvanizing, and then we can start the build. But yeah, obviously we haven't got to put any engine and gearbox in because we know that's all right. It's only up here that we've changed, so we just need to make sure the tank still fits in, the axle goes on, and we're good to go. Also, this failed to sell on eBay last night. It's not surprising really. It's quite a project to take on. I might relist it as a classified just for a price and then leave it and see what happens. Yeah, or I might inquire about getting it painted, see how much it will cost to get it all one colour, and then maybe try again. But for now, we'll just have to tax it and use it, I suppose. It has developed a little knocking noise on the front, so I need to get that on the ramp next week and just double check that nothing's going to fall off. I know I looked the other day, but I couldn't see or feel anything, but now it's started to make a noise, so I do need to have a good look at this. So again, that's a job for next week as well.